Hey everyone, quick video for everyone this week. Getting started on the foundation work here. So these cinder blocks I'm using to support this beam. And this beam is basically temporary support to re-level the floor on the inside. I kind of need something here in order to remediate the exterior wall, which I'll get to much later. I don't know when I'll be able to get to that. But in the meantime, I just need something to level the floor out so it's not uncomfortable to walk around in that room. And also, I don't want it to fall down any more than it already is. This beam should take about half the load that's above this room. It's not really that much anyway, so it's not a big deal. What I didn't show here is the stuff that I did earlier, where I had already dug holes down about 18 inches. There you can see one of the concrete pads that's already there. This concrete pad is about 12 inches deep. There's a little bit of rebar in the bottom, and then I just came in here and poured the concrete in, leveled it off, and I let it cure for about 6 weeks. I know you only need 30 days, but I was out of town, so it got an extra couple weeks before I got back to this part. So now that the concrete pad is good and cured, I can mortar these into place. Initially I wasn't going to add mortar, but because the surface of the concrete pads wasn't completely smooth and not completely level, I decided to just add some mortar. The mortar will just ensure that I can level these and that the distribution of weight is even onto the concrete pad through the cinder blocks. Also, originally I thought I had enough room in here where I could stack too high, but as I'm putting these in here, I'm realizing that another cinder block won't fit in there. So what I'll be doing is just putting some pressure treated lumber on top of those cinder blocks, and then I'll shim it out with composites as I lift the beam. You'll see me do this later after all this is done. This was actually done a few weeks ago. I also wanted to give the mortar some time to cure, so I think this was done about 3 weeks ago. I'm getting pretty close to the time where I can get the floor leveled and get it jacked up onto these piers. The long-term plan is that you can see the exterior foundation wall there in the background and in some of the previous shots. The main issue with this foundation is that there's no footings. Where I live, there's no frost lines, so when they built these houses and these foundations, they literally just formed up on the surface of whatever was there. They didn't dig down. There's no footing. They didn't take any of the topsoil off. In fact, there are places on that other pad where you can stick your hand underneath the foundation wall to the outside. This is just going to take a little bit of the load off of the foundation. The idea is that I will eventually be remediating the exterior foundation wall. So once I get this in place, from the outside, I will dig a trench in sections underneath the existing foundation wall, and I'm going to underpin it with a footing. So then I can set the house back down onto a more firm and stable foundation. It's going to take a long time, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to it, but this is just the temporary fix in the meantime, just to kind of stabilize this front room. This is the worst room in the whole house right now. Part of the reason for that is that it's not sheltered from the weather, so it gets quite wet on the front side of the house. There's a lot of bushes and trees and stuff that are growing right up next to the house. All of that will be gone, and we'll get it fixed up eventually. Anyway, it's about all the time I have for this week, so we will continue this work. So stay tuned.